let's discuss database connectivity. So we are going to connect to ODBC database. ODBC and my system has MS Access as a ODBC database. So for connection to ODBC database, okay, let me. We need a library called RODBC. So I already have that library with me. I will simply invoke it using library command. Now if I want to check what all ODBC data sources available, what are the all ODBC drivers available with me on my system, I will issue a command, a function called ODBC data sources. Okay, so now you see here, these are the 5 drivers available on my system. Right? Okay. So there is another way to check drivers on your system. If you go in, I don't remember. Okay, if you go in computer, and there is some administrative tools where you can actually see database drivers available on your system. So actually I have done that, but let me. Okay, might be we need to go in control panel. Okay, control panel administrative tools. Yeah. So where is administrative tool over here? So Venkatesh, can you help me with the administrative tools over here? Where exactly administrative tools is? I am using Windows 7. Okay, I got it. So if you go in control panel administrative tools, then data sources ODBC. So here you are going to get all the ODBC drivers available on your system. So if you install any driver, any JDBC driver, then you also need a JDBC ODBC bridge. So I am not actually going into that, but we are keeping it very simple. We are going to connect to ODBC database, which is MS Access. So this is just a way to locate the drivers on your system. You can always locate drivers in administrative tools, data sources, ODBC. Else, you can issue a command within our ODBC data sources. Okay. Now to connect to any database, like in any other language, you always need a connection string which actually points to your database driver. Okay. But before that, let's see what all tables I have on my MS Access. So let's open. Okay, Yasin, thanks for this. So where's MS Access? I need to open my MS Access. I actually don't use it frequently. And I have never used it on this system until you guys ask me for database connectivity. So I already have created, as a part of my experimentation with database connectivity, I have already created a database called database 1. So this database has a table called EMP. Okay, so the backend file for this database is stored in my documents. So name of database is database1 and it's already there in my documents. You see here database1 dot mbd, sorry, mdb. This is my database on my hard disk. So if I actually browse here, because that was not the correct path, if I go here Atul and then if I go in documents, my documents, I get this. This is my database. So in my connection string, I need to specify both database driver as well as path of my database, path of database on my disk. Okay, so I already have done that. I will explain you this connection string. Let me. Okay, Balaji, you want to understand navigation again. So see, this is my MS Access. I have a table called EMP and that is in a database called database1. So in my access, yeah, my access, the databases are always stored in my documents. This is a default path. You can specify any other path. So you simply need to go to that path where your MDB file is there. So MDB is the extension for that database. On my system, it is my documents. The default, it is my documents only. But you actually need to search it on your system. So you can simply do a search star.mdb and you will get your database file on the disk. Is it clear, Balaji? So in connection string, so I specify connection string using a function called ODBC connect access, and then within bracket, first I pass name of the driver in curly braces. So this is my driver, and second separated by semicolon, and then second argument dbq actually points to my database. So my database was in C users Atul documents. This is the path. So I will give complete path and name of the database. So let me type it here to make it clear for you. And then database 1.mdb. And just remember that I think we already have discussed that I will never use single slashes. I will precede a slash with another slash because it acts as an escape sequence. So this is my connection string. So first argument is the database drivers and second argument is the path and name of my database. So any confusion? And just remember that this connection string changes from database to database. It will be different from different for SQL. It will be different. Sorry, SQL as in SQL Server. It will be different for Oracle. It will be different from some other database. So I already have put all the connection strings in this deck. You see here. So I have given you connection strings. So here are top 5 connection strings, and then you can go on this web link to see how you can specify connection string for other databases. So this information is there in the deck. So you cannot play around with this connection string. You can simply change path of database, depends on where database is, but this is more of a standard syntax. Yeah, so this is a package, Yasin, RODBC. Actually, I told you that you need to install this package RODBC. So I am going to run and execute this connection string. Now it's done. Okay. Now suppose I want to query EMP database, access database, EMP table in my MS Access. So you see here I have a table called EMP in MS Access. I want to query this. Okay. So Balaji, you are getting this error because you have not set this RODBC library. You need to first download and set this RODBC library. So Balaji, we will discuss this after this class. First, I actually I need you to see what I am demonstrating. Then we will connect after the class, and I will fix the issue for you. Okay. So I want to query EMP table. So my EMP table in my access. So the function to be used over here is SQL fetch, where first argument is the connection string which you have created, and second argument is the name of table which you want to query. As I run it, it's now done. So this is my table in access, and now it has been stored in an R object called EMP1. So when I check value of EMP1, you see on left hand side the table is in R now. So this is how I can read from MS Access tables. So it's very simple. First you define connection string using function ODBC connect access, and then you use SQL fetch function, pass that connection string as first argument, the name of table as second argument which you want to query, and you simply assign it to an object in R. So any confusion in reading the data using from MS Access using R? I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay. Another way could be that instead of using SQL fetch, you use SQL query. You can use this SQL query function, where in first argument you will again pass the connection string, and in second argument you will pass your SQL query, select star from EMP. So I want to query EMP again. So let's query different table now. I already have a table, another table called TBL test. So let's query this. So I will simply change name of the table TBL test, and let the object be our table. Now this is my TBL test over here. Now when I punch in R table, I get the same table over here in R. So there are two modes to query your table. First is a SQL fetch, where you simply pass name of the table. The second is SQL query, where you pass a SQL query on that database, on the table. So please let me know if you have any question. Balaji, Ganesh, Senthil, Yasin. Praveen is not here today, I guess. Aparna. Venkatesh, Sarvanan. Let me know if you have any question. Are you guys there? Okay. So now let's do a vice versa step. Let's create a table in R and then write it to MS Access in the same database. So let's generate random numbers and alphabets and create table. So I have created a table in R with these values. The name of object is test. Let me assign column names to it. Let it be roll number. Then second column, let it be grade. Third column, let it be marks. So this is my table in R. Now I want to write it to MS Access. Right? I want to write it in, create a table in MS Access. So for that, we have a command called SQL save. Function called SQL save. So my connection is already established. So this is my SQL save command. Name of the connection string, name of the table in R, name of the table name I want to create in MS Access. Table name equal to this table test. Let's create a table called check, or let's create a table called grades. Row names false. So in R, every table might may or may not have a row name. And then append equal to true. If table already exists, it's going to append it, but table is not existing right now. So I only have two tables. One is EMP and one is table test. Now as I execute this query, I will get one more table with the name grades in my MS Access database. Now it's done. And you, okay, I am not getting the table. Might be it's not refreshed or something. Because I didn't got any error as well. Okay, now you see I have a table called grades. So this is the way I can write my R table to MS Access. Now once your work is done, you need to close the connection string as well. So for that, you simply use the close function and pass the name of connection string as the argument. That's it. So this is how you can read a table from MS Access, and this is how you can write a table to MS Access.